Happy Tuesday to everyone. I'm Ronnie Dell alongside Tyler Keith here in the 89.3 Lakes FM Civic Center TV studios in West Bloomfield. We appreciate everyone tuning in this morning to be with us. A little bit hazy out there this morning, Tyler, and you know what they're saying? It's because of the wildfires out west.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, that shifts across the entire nation, and they have additional clouding from that and haziness in the clouds from all that smoke and fire.
I saw a posting on Facebook where someone took an overlay of the area that is burning out west and put it over our region, and basically we would have all been victims of this fire, just to talk about the severity of the area that is being impacted by these wildfires. And now we have Hurricane Sally hitting the south. We're all navigating COVID-19, but I will say when you watch the news and you see what's going on in other parts of the country, you feel pretty good about living in Michigan right now.
Oh yeah, between the wildfires and between the fight in many places to get clean water all across the nation and across the world, the Midwest, and particularly in Michigan, where we have such great resources, all four seasons, and we're having a pretty nice weather as of late, knock on fake wood over here. It really makes you feel lucky where you live.
It is, well, of course, we're not in the middle of a snowstorm right now either, so that kind of helps things. But we've been very lucky this summer with the weather, and going into fall, it is like a light switch was flicked, and we're all of a sudden in fall from summer. That's why I broke out my plaid today. I was feeling very fallish when I was getting dressed. For girls, I don't know about you, Tyler, but it's like you have a whole new wardrobe when we switch seasons. So it's kind of nice. But anyway, that's what's going on. But for all those, the victims, though, of the wildfires and then down south, what they're going through as Sally hits the coastline in New Orleans and Biloxi and those areas, and they suffered so much after Katrina, we're thinking of them. Just a little reminder for all of us, be grateful that we're here in Michigan and we are experiencing great weather, although we are all still trying to navigate COVID-19. I think it's just getting tired by now.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's wearing on people more and more each and every day. And as we're well beyond 6 months and approaching month number 7 coming up, it's only going to get more tiring as time goes on.
Tyler, did you watch any of the video from the Kid Rock, Donald Trump Jr. campaign rally last night?
I did not.
I would imagine that group it kind of feels the same way. Yeah. It was packed. It people on boats, people at the event. It seemed like it was a good turnout, but I will say again, just like Trump's previous engagement here in Michigan last week, a lot of people were not wearing masks and they were not socially distancing. However, they did have patrols on jet skis trying to navigate in between some of the boats to keep them a little bit socially distanced. But check out that video. It was pretty interesting too. So hey, a lot of news to get to this morning. It's all about schools. We're still talking a lot about schools. So if you head over to civiccentertv.com, we post the headlines each and every morning. We navigate all the headlines before we come into the studio, so you don't have to. And we just try to give you the biggest things that everyone is talking about right now and what's going on. And some good news out of Lansing to some degree. The Democratic governor, along with Republican lawmakers, have agreed to a framework for the 2021 budget that will protect funding for K through 12 schools and local governments. Despite revenue declines associated with COVID-19, the tentative agreement means Whitmer and the GOP leaders appear poised to avoid the kind of prolonged budget battle that led to a near government shutdown last year. Michigan Constitution requires the governor and legislators to finalize a balanced budget by October 1st when the new fiscal year starts. And that is right around the corner. It's hard to believe October is almost here, but we've been through government shutdowns before on the state level. I went through one on the federal level as a federal employee, and I can tell you it is a nightmare. So many services are closed down, even essential services that are open. You're working without pay, and while you do eventually get paid, you still have to navigate that time away. A government shutdown because of the budget is never good. So this is some good news out of Lansing, that it seems like the two sites can at least come together despite their differences to make sure we don't have a repeat situation.
Yeah, of all the things that are going on right now in the state of Michigan, and all the struggles that the people of Michigan are already facing during the ongoing crises that we have, a state government shutdown is the last thing that anybody wants to add on top of that. And it's good to see that both sides of the aisle in Lansing agree on that with the people of Michigan.
Now, don't get me wrong, there are going to be cuts.
Yes.
They're going to have to make some cuts to this budget somewhere in some place, but it looks like our local governments and the schools are going to escape some of those deep cuts. So that is good news as they continue to try to come to an agreement on the budget. But again, we'll see. It could be close, though, right? On October 1st. So let's just hope there's not a meltdown prior to them actually finalizing this deal. Also over on CivicCenterTV.com, one that we've been talking about quite a bit here on the Oakland County Megacast. We told you this was coming. There are new or ongoing coronavirus outbreaks at 11 Michigan K-12 schools and 13 colleges. That's according to data released Monday by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. First time they are posting this information after a bit of a backlash from the public. Total positive cases now exceed 1,400 at area schools and colleges. Now, among some of the newly identified K-12 outbreaks, a Big Brother, Big Sister program at Birmingham Groves High School. The vast majority of the reported cases released by the state Monday, though, were in colleges and universities. About 1,379 confirmed cases on the 13 campuses. So you'll find that article on CivicCenterTV.com. Also, we want to let you know, we do put the information, if you go to CivicCenterTV.com, the state of Michigan page up there. And so when you go to the state of Michigan, you'll find a link on CivicCenterTV.com. You navigate through that, and you'll also come to the listing of all the schools and all the information that the state posted yesterday. So this is something new that they are going to be doing, and it's going to be posted every Monday. So you can see the schools there, and it will tell you how many number of cases that are linked, Ferris State University, MSU, but you go down, so also ongoing school outbreaks. So there's new and then ongoing, and you'll see some of them here in Oakland County. There's the Auburn Hills has one, Pontiac has one as well, so you can find that information on CivicCenterTV.com. One thing that we are seeing with this, though, Tyler, is the fact that some of this information may actually be a little bit older by the time it is posted. So school districts and health departments are letting the public know that if there is an outbreak, you will be contacted individually if they feel like you have been in close contact of one of those cases.
Yeah, that's the good thing about this, is that the tracking is very close. However, and we have talked to many school district officials from across our local area so far, and they do have some dissension toward this because of privacy issues. But being able to trace those outbreaks is going to be crucial as we head into fall and as we head into the flu season.
So here we have another problem that's going on. Everyone's excited for high school football to return, but there could be a referee shortage. High school football games are set to kick off later this week after getting the go-ahead from the governor, but a potential referee shortage could be another roadblock to game time. The pool of referees is smaller this season because a lot of officials made other plans when the state announced the fall season would be moved to the spring of 2021. Organizers are proposing some of the games be moved to possibly Thursday. If not, we could look at a postponement in some of those games. So another issue that we are looking at as they try to get high school sports and high school football back on the gridiron. I think, sometimes you're putting these plans together and we could possibly forget about all that is going on.
Yeah, the referees are huge in that, and They're in a profession that has them being very close to other people, in very close proximity, communicating with a lot of other people, and many referees simply just aren't comfortable coming back at this time, given the pandemic continues to be ongoing, and we're going to be and many referees are of greater age as well, and so that puts them in a higher risk category. So the referee shortage is not all that surprising. How the MHSAA and these schools navigate that, it's going to be something that's got to be navigated on the local school level, is going to be where we see the results of the season, particularly the football season, impacted.
So you'll find all those stories and more on civiccentertv.com. But let's go ahead, and our next guest and our first guest, we're always excited to have him on the Oakland County Megacast, but he's under a little bit of a time crunch because as much as we think Dr. Jamie Taweel should be a permanent guest and have a spot here on the Oakland County Megacast, well, guess what? He is a doctor, and he also has a practice to run. Oh, yeah. But we always appreciate your time, and good morning. Thank you for carving out a little bit of that time to be with us here on the Megacast.
I honestly think you guys have just watched me turn completely beet red in real time.
It doesn't show through the camera. You're okay.
I really hope not. How are you guys?
We're great, Doctor. How are things going with you and everyone in your office?
Things are going well. Things are really picking up. It's been busy, very, very busy. People are starting to come out of their shell a little bit. So I'm getting, a lot of people trying to catch up on past physicals. Still going through all of that. It's been a rush. Been really awfully busy.
So, and what is the timeline? I know that when I made my doctor's appointment recently, it was 3 to 4 weeks out. So are you seeing a backlog, and should people be aware of that?
Yeah, there's been a backlog, certainly, because people that need to get their, physicals for their insurance companies, those that work for companies that would reimburse you if you were to get your physicals done during a certain time, they're anxious to get those taken care of. People that just need to do checkups and follow-ups to get refills on their medications. Some patients we need to see before we can refill their meds so we can draw labs. So those are all coming into play. Not to mention the fact that we're also doing all of the things that to prevent, COVID from spreading within an office. Should someone that's infected make it through, we have to do the screening at the door, and we're trying to limit the amount of people we can have in the waiting room. So it's slowed things down a bit. So that also contributes to the grind a little bit.
So are you also seeing patients via Zoom or, like telehealth? Are you still doing those for people?
I am actually. I blocked off a day for doing just those types of calls because I do have patients that want to get seen right away, and I am booked out for quite a bit just because of a lot of things. Also, I had another physician in this office who unfortunately had to move out of state for husband's career change, so that really kind of slowed things down a bit as well. But I blocked off a day on Wednesdays so that I can do that just for patients that either need to be seen rather immediately, need refills, and just can't wait to be seen. We're also trying to block off some time, and I'm adding to the beginning and end of my days to try and accommodate people. It was really slow when COVID hit, and now we're in overdrive and just doing the best we can.
So Dr. Jamie Taweel with us here on the Oakland County Megacast. He is the internal medicine specialist over at Grand River Medical Associates. As you said, we're going back into fall time. Flu season is upon us. How important this year, more than previous years, will it be for people to get the flu vaccine? Because could you get COVID and the flu at the same time?
I think it's certainly possible. You definitely want to get the flu shot. I'm going to tell you that every year. Every patient always says, do I really need to get the flu shot? And my answer is always the same. It's my job. I'm a doctor, and I'm always going to push the flu shot. You're really hard pressed to have me tell you that you shouldn't get it. But especially more so this year. I do think hopefully the flu transmission will actually be a little bit less as we practice the social distancing, wearing the masks, doing all the stuff that we've been doing. And I think those are going to be new habits that people are going to keep for a bit. So I hope that will reduce the transmission of the flu, but the flu shot is necessary. And also to, you don't want to have a co-infection of, flu and COVID. I think that would be, I'm hoping that does not occur often.
Right. So what do you say to your patients that say, but if I get the flu shot, I get sick. So it gives me the flu. I'm not going to get it.
So people get the flu shot and they feel rather crummy rather immediately, and they blame it on the flu shot. But if you were to get the flu from the flu shot, it would take a lot longer than the rather immediate thing. Your body does mount an immune reaction to the flu shot. It does happen on a local level, which is why your arm tends to ache a little bit after you get the shot. But at the same time, it also happens to systemically as your body mounts antibodies. That's what it's trying to do. You're basically, for lack of a better example, showing a picture of the bad guy to the authorities and letting the authorities mount a response so that if the bad guy actually shows up, they know what to do. So during the time your body is mounting that response, you tend to feel a little bit, sort of reported lethargic, sluggish, things like that. But to be as ill as you were when you got the flu, should not happen. And I think people oftentimes misattribute things to the flu, which is, unfortunate because I'm always going to push the flu shot.
I'll say I used to get it, and I haven't had one in several years. But going through COVID this year, I'm with you. I think I'm probably going to suck it up and get it just because I'm a baby when it comes to needles. And I also hear the stories about, the flu, there are different strands and it changes. So the shot that you get for the flu may not actually protect you from the flu. Is there any validity to that?
Absolutely. I think a couple of years ago, I think we missed the mark altogether. And if I'm remembering correctly, please don't quote me on that. But there was a year when the strand and the mutation of the virus that hit was a lot different than the flu vaccine that was given, which is why now they do different combinations of the flu to try and to better get people prepared. But it's also hit or miss. There's different strands, there's different strains, there's different mutations, there's different things. People can get a flu shot, feel like they're protected, and then get a pretty bad pneumonia from a bacteria. There's always these options, but what we're trying to do ultimately is reduce the risk as best as possible, specifically in our more high-risk population. For example, the elderly, people that have certain illnesses, just like with COVID, when people had conditions that made them higher risk patients. This is the same thing with the flu. So we're trying to just do the best we can, but it's not always going to be 100%. That's unfortunate. But at the same time, we are reducing the risk, and the flu vaccine does work.
Dr. Jamie Taweel joining us from Grand River Medical Associates. He's an internal medicine specialist over there today with us on the Oakland County Megacast. So Dr. Taweel, when is the right time or right period of time to get your flu shot? I spoke to someone recently who said they were going to schedule a time to go get their flu shot, and they were told, "Oh no, it's a little bit too early." Is there a right period of time to get that shot?
I don't think there is. So people might disagree with me on that. Some people say to wait a little bit longer. The flu, once you get the vaccine, you are immune to that flu, that particular strand. I don't know if they're going to change the vaccine on people, but we've got them in. We're giving them out now. I'm recommending people get them as soon as possible, and just to avoid any type. I have a feeling that there might be a shortage as things go on if more people are trying to get the flu shot this year. So I don't personally believe there's a particular time. Once you get it, and you're good for that year. So I think my personal opinion is the sooner that you get it, the better. I have heard people suggest otherwise, and I don't know the rationale behind that. I'd have to double check, but perhaps I'm misinformed. But to the best of my knowledge, getting it as soon as possible is usually the best bet.
One of the things one of the things I'm starting to see is I think even Kroger is jumping in on people getting the flu shot. You can maybe go to, like a drive-by location now that they're offering this year, or CVS, or there's so many places to get flu shots. Doesn't matter where you get it or who. I would imagine who you get it from is important as well, but it doesn't necessarily need to be from a doctor's office, right?
No, it doesn't need to be from a doctor's office. You can get it from anywhere. A flu shot can be done from the public health department. Most pharmacies that have minute clinics, or I know that CVS, things like that, Walmart. As long as you're getting it, you're getting it. And I think that what matters is more importantly is the manufacturer and who's making the flu shots and producing them. And there can be done some research into that, but the CDC essentially sets the strand for the flu vaccine, if I'm not mistaken, and that ends up being what people get. So you're not going to get a lot of variability depending on where you get it done. So you're they're trying to make it as convenient as possible so many people can get them. So, if you're already at the doctor's office, you're already going to get your blood drawn, you're going to get the flu shot. But if some people can't get to the doctor's office or don't want to, make an appointment, or if, I don't know, if some offices will do, my office specifically, due to COVID, we are asking that people call ahead so that we can schedule them in so that they're not just kind of coming in the door. We're trying to, again, limit the interaction between people so that, sometimes doing it at a pharmacy might be a better option. And there's no risk to doing that.
And if you're already backed up and extremely busy, it might be better to alleviate some of the lines and the backup at the doctor's office to give you time to work with, some of your patients that are in desperate need of your services.
Well, yeah, I absolutely. I mean, I don't need to be present for a flu vaccine to be given. So certainly if you come and I'm not there, or if I'm in a room, the staff will do that. They'll take the appropriate information down. They'll get the permissions. They'll explain to you the risks, and they'll administer the vaccine. So it can be done, which is, obviously why they're being done at, Kmart, or sorry, Kmart, geez, Walmart.
You just kind of showed your age right there, because there are so few Kmarts left today, right?
Oh my God! Here I am. We read again, and here's the green thing blown out. So no, Walmart and CVS and things to that effect. I mean, that's why you don't need a physician there as well. And certainly, it does help with things, but the flu shot's a relatively quick process. It can be done relatively smooth. We haven't had any real backups in my office specifically to limit, we've never had to turn anybody away for that. I think the biggest problem we're having right now is keeping it in stock. People are really requesting it this year.
There's one of the positives coming out of COVID then, right? Doctor, I have a question for you, because here at Civic Center TV, every time we come in, we do take our temperatures and we do the health screening. You're doing it at your offices. College campuses are coming up with different protocols. Some of Oakland University, I think they have that button that the students are wearing to help monitor their health. Do temperature checks really work? Because if you're asymptomatic, will that even pick up through a temperature check?
Well, asymptomatic by definition is you have no symptoms, so a temperature check would come back normal, and yeah, there's still going to be spread. But there are people that have, we're trying to, again, reduce the risk the best we can with what we're doing. People that have fevers are known to be a bit higher risk patients. People that may have it and be in a particular state in their pathology to be more contagious. So temperature checks do help. They do reduce things to a degree. I mean, are they effective 100% foolproof? No, certainly nothing is at this point in time, but it does improve things a bit. And if you do have a fever, then you should be staying away from people. If you have a fever and you come to my office, unfortunately, we're going to recommend that you get screened for COVID, and we're going to recommend you self-isolate till we get results.
So that also brings me to fall allergy season. We kind of went through this in the springtime. For those that get fall allergies, or sometimes you start to develop them as you get older for the first time, but it seems like everyone is so freaked out now because you fear that you could possibly, is it COVID, is it not COVID, or is it just my allergies? What are you telling your patients?
I'm telling patients that the one thing they know better than anybody else, even more than me, is themselves. So if they feel that, hey, this is the same thing I get every year around this time, then it's pretty obvious. It could just be their allergies. But if they're getting things that are a little bit different, a little bit off the beaten path, or something they're not used to, such as I'm getting a fever, allergies typically don't present with huge high fevers. So that's a bit of a red flag. They have, issues with their throat where they feel like it's really sore versus just scratchy. Those are, things that are a little bit different. I would suggest things that are different. You know what I mean? Allergies are also very situational. In other words, if you go into areas, as this season hits, people allergies kick up. But if they go outside, do they get worse? Does it get worse the more they stay indoors? Different types of allergies, as opposed to someone that's being ill from perhaps COVID, they would have those symptoms for quite some time, and it wouldn't immediately be, it wouldn't be as variable.
Do you recommend some of your patients get tested for allergies to know exactly what is their trigger point? So if anything, it helps them navigate to this COVID time if they're extremely concerned.
Oh, certainly, certainly. I think everybody should get tested for allergies if they're having issues or recurrent sinus infections, or they have significant symptoms. Allergies can be pretty severe, and they do, as you said, they do present as you get older. I know mine have. So I do think that it's worthwhile to get allergy tested to see if you can avoid those things, and then if you can't avoid those things, to at least get it treated, and be able to say, hey, listen, I've been avoiding these things and I'm still not feeling well. This may not just be allergies. This may be something a little bit more concerning. Let me go to the doctor and see what's what.
Dr. Jamie Taweel joining us today on the Oakland County Megacast. He is an internal medicine specialist at Grand River Medical Associates with us today on the program. In terms of children, is there any difference in what parents should be looking out for as their kids are going back to school? Many of their kids are in person, so they're around usually just their own cohort of people, but they're around people that are around other people that are around other people. What should they be looking out for? What checks can maybe parents do regularly at home on school days and not on school days to keep an eye on their kids and make sure that their kids aren't showing symptoms of COVID-19 and maybe putting themselves at risk?
That's a tough one because it gets different as kids get older. At different ages, kids show symptoms differently, and a lot of it is not only how they appear, but how they act. If a kid's be a little bit more lethargic, or if a child's having a little bit more, a baby's a little more fussy or a little more lethargic, that's going to be a significant thing as opposed to a child that can speak and actually convey their symptoms. I think most importantly, it's looking for a change in patterns, really. Again, parents know their children, so they know, hey, I have people that come to me all the time and they describe something that may be simple. And I say, all right, this doesn't seem like anything significant. And they look at me and they say, no, listen, I know myself. This is a change. This is something that is not normal for me. And then my antenna goes up and I think we need to chase it down a little bit more. And I think that parents should also do that with their children. Again, I'm no pediatrician, but any change in patterns is always going to be something worth raising the antenna. And I think it's worth looking into. Again, change is also with regards to temperature. If the child's becoming more lethargic, more sleepy, more fussy as an infant or as a toddler or a younger child, just basically just going to use their words and tell you, like, I don't feel well. And is it something that they usually complain about? Is it something that's kind of along their radar, or is it something that's a little bit different? It's hard to tell, and I think it's just worthwhile to take everything as serious as possible.
Dr. Taweel with us here on the Oakland County Megacast. How many more months into this? And I know we had you on before back in June talking about hand sanitizer. Well, the FDA continues to extend its ban list because more and more hand sanitizers are making that list. I think there's over 100 brands on it that I saw the other day. I was on their website. And, it's so hard for us now to find those brands that we are comfortable with, like Purell. So what should people be looking for in a hand sanitizer? I know it's because sometimes, some of the ingredients, we just don't know what they are. And we're like, they're selling it at the drugstore. It's safe.
Yeah, I think you need one that's going to have an alcohol content of, I want to say 60%, if I recall correctly. I have to double check those numbers. And I believe a 60% alcohol content is going to be ultimately, I think, the most important thing for preventing the transmission of COVID. Everything else, I believe, is going to be just filler in terms of, does it have aloe vera or does it have, et cetera, et cetera. There's the list for things that were banned because they were made in either unsafe conditions or had particular chemicals that made them higher risk. So obviously keep a close eye on that ban list. And I don't know if they're necessarily doing FDA approval for, is there a seal that they're putting or a stamp that they're putting on hand sanitizers? I mean, so many people are just giving away hand sanitizers, companies that are just giving it away as, products, like a company that has their logo on something that they're just giving those away. So I think when you get those, you have to look for at least a minimum 60% alcohol content just to make sure that it's going to be effective enough.
I do have a few of those. I have a hand sanitizer stashed in so many places. It's crazy.
Everyone.
So I will, I'll ask you this because I think this is another thing so many of us are going through right now. I was lucky enough to find disinfectant spray. Again, it's not name brand. I don't remember the last time I actually saw a name brand Lysol anywhere, but it says kills flu virus and 99.9% of germs. So when it says flu virus, that doesn't necessarily mean COVID, correct?
No, it means it kills what they tested. So you can't trust what it says unless it tells you what it's actually tested it against. Now, I think it's safe to say that if it kills the flu virus, it's likely to kill most viruses, including COVID. But without distinct, testing that suggests that this particular chemical kills it, you can't say it for sure from a medical legal standpoint. But if it kills the flu virus, it should be sufficient enough to kill COVID, I would believe.
Well, I tried to attack it on a multifaceted platform. So usually I wipe it down first with a hand wipe, which I will say again, like the good ones are hard to get by, but sometimes I even use baby wipes. But it's like whatever you have. I'm like, hey, if it's good enough for a baby, it's good enough for the door handles. Like I wiped out before they get in here in the studio. I wipe down the door handles. I wipe down the studio, and then I spray after it as well.
Absolutely. I think, look, people often feel like there's like one thing they can do and that's all. And my suggestion is always going to be anything you do is going to be good. You're not going to make your numbers zero, in terms of your risk for getting things. And just being a human being is, you can't make your risk zero. But what you can do is lower that risk as much as possible. So anything you do that's going to maintain, hygiene, proper practices, things like that, you're going to lower those numbers. And that's all we're trying to do. People think, the masks don't work. Well, the masks don't work 100%. No, they don't. But what they do is reduce the risk. They lower those numbers. So, if you bought a lotto ticket and you could do everything you could to make sure you're increasing your chances of winning, you're going to do that. So there, flip that around. Anything that you could do to lower your risk of a terrible infection, why not do that? The mask is not going to make it zero, but what it's going to do is lower those risks. So why not do those things that are going to be for the benefit of everybody?
Doctor, I know you have an extremely busy schedule, and so we don't want to take up much more of your time. We appreciate it as always. But anything that we didn't ask that people should know right now, or any of your patients, anything we should get out there?
Same as always, practice and maintain social distancing, get your flu shots, make sure that you're calling your doctor if you have any concerns. There's no such thing as a stupid question for a physician. We get paid to deal with these things. You have concerns, always get a hold of your doctor. They'll tell you whether or not it's something worth worrying about. Peace of mind is going to be more important than anything else. So I'm always going to recommend that. And as always, I really appreciate you guys having me on and letting me talk. This is very important to people get these questions answered. So I'm glad I'm able to do that for you. And I certainly appreciate you guys giving me the platform as always.
You're always welcome here on the Oakland County Megacast. And just so you know, I'm old enough like you to remember Kmart, and I remember when the headquarters were across from Somerset Mall. So we're all in this together.
Oh, man, do I remember that.
Have a good day. Thanks again for taking time. Stay safe, stay healthy. We appreciate having you here on the Oakland County Megacast. Dr. Jamie Taweel with us. He's the internal medicine specialist, Grand River Medical Associates. I will say I feel like he's my family doctor, and I've never been to him.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that. More and more as time goes on, we talk to Dr. Taweel very often about everything COVID-19 and other medical-related issues. We're really lucky to have him, someone that we can call pretty easily and get on the show and give us solid advice each and every time.
And I try to ask him some of the questions I know that are still out there. They're questions that I have with my family members as we continue to navigate this. I mean, we've all heard it. Like, we're still being told how to wash our hands. We are still being told to wear a mask. But when you actually dive deeper, you realize maybe I haven't been washing my hands properly. And what happens when we aren't getting the products that are brand familiar and trusted for us? So do you go to these second and third brands, and do they really work? We don't know. So it's just, we try to ask them what all of you are thinking out there as well, to share the information and share the knowledge with everyone. So again, we appreciate Dr. Taweel always coming on the Megacast with us here in Oakland County. So we're going to take a quick break here on the Megacast, and when we come back, we'll try to just touch up on a few more headlines. We didn't get to all of them just because we wanted to get to Dr. Taweel because his schedule is so busy, and so we'll have that for you in a little bit. Again, you can catch us on civiccentertv.com, Birmingham Area Municipal Access. Always catch us on the radio, 89.3 Lakes FM and 88.1 FM The Biff.
Hi, I'm Dr. Faust, the Medical Director for the Oakland County Health Division. The most important thing you can do to prevent the spread of illness is to wash your hands thoroughly and often. Follow these 6 easy steps every time you wash your hands. Step 1, turn on the sink and wet your hands with warm water. Step 2, apply soap to your hands and lather between your fingers, under your nails, and the front and back of your hands and wrists. Step 3, wash your hands by scrubbing them together for at least 20 seconds. Step 4, rinse your hands with warm, clean water. And step 5, dry your hands with a clean cloth towel, a paper towel, or hot air blow dryer. If you're using a cloth towel, make sure to change it often. For handheld faucets, turn off the water using a paper towel instead of your bare hand. Step 6, if you're using a paper towel, throw it away. Practice healthy habits like washing your hands after coughing or sneezing into them to keep you and others healthy. Go to oakgov.com/health or call Nurse on Call at 1-800-848-5533 to learn more.
Michigan, the coronavirus pandemic has put us all to the test. And now it's time to put COVID-19 to the test. As we move forward, testing will be critical. We encourage anyone who has reason to get tested to do so, those with symptoms and those without. If you are leaving home and going back to work, get tested. If you think you may have COVID-19 or you've been exposed recently through family, friends, or coworkers, get tested. Our test locator tool can help you find the right testing site that fits your needs. Even if you're looking for easy access with no cost, no prescription, and no appointment necessary, we've got you covered. Help Michigan move forward, not backward. To find a testing site or learn more, visit michigan.gov/coronavirus test. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Welcome back to the Oakland County Megacast. You can catch us Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon on civiccentertv.com, Birmingham Area Municipal Access. Always on the radio, 89.3 Lakes FM, 88.1 FM The Biff. If you are one of the people still out there that has cable TV, catch us on Channel 15 on Comcast or Channel 99 on AT&T. I think I've asked you this before, Tyler. Do you still have cable?
I do. I do have cable. Yes. I don't know for how much longer. I got it. I have it on a promotional deal, so that may go away. But I'll probably re-up it just because I don't know. I feel like I'm doing. I feel like I'm going against the team here if I'm not going on cable because the franchise fees are what funds us. So I don't know. But not many people left with it that I know.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be an interesting thing to see as it plays out as we go through the next 10 years, 10, 15 years, because the younger generation, a lot of millennials are not getting cable television. They're relying on subscription based because even we still have cable, but we need it, with my husband's job for all the sports and this, that, and the other. And I will say, I didn't have it in Ohio, and it was weird because you become so accustomed to your channels, but there's, you now have Roku and so many other streaming services. So in addition to cable, we're also paying for Netflix and Amazon Prime and some of these other services. So I do see why so many people are saying, hey, no longer, I'm cutting the cord, as they say.
Yeah, I can see it, but I also see benefits of continuing with their cable service as well. So there's good and bad on both ends, Ronnie.
So, Tyler, we've been talking about this for quite a bit. So we had mentioned how now the state of Michigan is tracking the outbreaks of the coronavirus at area schools, and they're going to be posting them. But we talked about this story yesterday, but we have an update that we want to bring you. The Ingham County Health Department has now mandated a 2-week quarantine of people living in 30 large houses in East Lansing with known exposure to COVID-19. The houses include 23 fraternities and sorority houses, 7 rental houses. MSU has the most new cases in the state with 203. Now, as for ongoing outbreaks, so you'll see the state is going to be posting them separately as new outbreaks and ongoing outbreaks. State health officials did report that Grand Valley State University has 438 cases among students. Central Michigan University has 271. Adrian College, 229, but that includes the school staff as well. University of Michigan, 77 cases among students, actually a low number for U of M, which I'm surprised because they're actually having some classes in person. But it's not only that. These students in Ingham County are being warned if they do not follow these strict protocols, it's a misdemeanor, and they face up to a $200 fine and 60 days in jail.
Yeah, this is absolutely serious, and I think that we've seen on college campuses all across the country. I mean, yesterday I saw some data that showed some maps of across the country and some of the hot zones, and area after area after area, you were seeing these pockets where there's some heat, but the really most concentrated areas were cities or general city areas where there were college campuses, and we're certainly seeing that in East Lansing. As school has returned to being in session at Michigan State, that these students have not taken the precautions seriously. They seem to think that because they are younger and they're in less risky populations, so to speak, of people who could potentially get COVID-19, that they can be relaxed on this, and they need to understand. And I think that's what Ingham County is saying at this point with the major outbreak coming from among university students, that this is serious. It doesn't affect just Michigan State students. It affects all of Ingham County. It affects a large population center in Lansing. And with kids coming in from all across the state of Michigan, all across the U.S., and all across the world to go to this university, this could be a super spreader situation. And they certainly, in Ingham County and on the campus of Michigan State, don't want to be the epicenter of that because of negligence on behalf of the student body. So really putting this out there to them that this is serious and has incredibly serious consequences, it's maybe that last-ditch effort that will convince these students to take the precautions seriously.
So, Tyler, I pulled up the news release from Ingham County. And just so people know, too, 1/3 of all Ingham County cases since the pandemic started were reported in just the past 3 weeks. So they went from a 2% positivity rate in Ingham County to 5%. But these students, holy cow, the list is long of what is being required of them. They have to remain in their residence unless they need medical care or necessities that can't be delivered. Those who leave the property must wear a face covering at all times, maintain 6 feet physical distancing from others, separate themselves from others in the residence, wear face coverings when in all common areas of the residence. So that'd be like you in your house wearing your mask, and maintaining 6 feet physical distance from all of the other people in the house as well. Prohibit people who do not reside in the residence from entering. Provide any essential service deemed necessary for the immediate health and safety of the residents. Here's the other thing. One of the big problems that they are having is students are not playing nice with the contact tracers. So they're not giving up information because, it's like, I'm not going to squeal on my friends.
Right.
So they're addressing that. They have to answer and return phone calls and text from the staff or the university, from the health department. They have to cooperate fully with all the questions asked by the health department and allow health department staff or their designees on their premises for random checks for compliance. Can you imagine that? And they have to take their temperature 2 times a day, once in the morning, once at night. But they are doing surprise visits to make sure these students are actually following these rules.
And it comes down to this, Ronnie. If you are entrusted with the responsibility of your health and don't take it seriously, and then asked to be put in responsibility of other people's health and still don't take it seriously, it's clear at that point that you just don't care. And if that's the case, then you have to put more pressure down in order to show just how serious the situation is and why this is so critical for these students to follow those rules. They're coming in from all over the state. They're coming in from all over the country, sometimes all over the world. There's a lot of potential for spread of this virus. And if students are not taking the precautions seriously, if students are taking matters into their own hands and saying, well, we'll just wing it and see what happens, and then not cooperating with local authorities to be able to properly track the spread of the virus after the fact, then there's just non-compliance across the board. And at that point, it's a matter of the public health that you have to enforce as stringently as you possibly can.
One of the things they also have to do is display a notice of mandatory quarantine on the exterior entrances to the property. So basically, it's like that big notice, we are under quarantine, you are not allowed in. And so, of course, this is one of the new things coming out of the state of Michigan, where they are now reporting outbreaks at schools, not just college campuses, but K through 12 as well. And they are posting it on the state of Michigan's website, and we have a link to the state of Michigan on civiccentertv.com, so you can actually find it if you go to the school-related outbreak reporting, and it's going to be updated on Mondays, and you can see that they will list the different schools and how many cases. So it gives the school, the the name of the city, and then how many cases, and if it's students, staff, or both. One of the things that we've seen, some superintendents, while we've been talking to them, haven't been so pleased with this, and not because they're not trying to be transparent, but you have to remember this is only posted once a week on Mondays and updated in the afternoon, so there is a lag time there. They're saying that if they have reported cases within their schools, they're going to report it first to your local health department, and then they will start that notification process. So they don't want parents to see this maybe a week or two later and be like, oh, wait, you weren't being open and transparent. They're saying, no, we're letting the health department handle this situation. But they want to remind people that this is just to be open. I think the state was getting a lot of pushback from this issue from parents and teachers, as well as some members of the media. But you got to remember, at the middle of this are the health concerns, the privacy health concerns of the student, of the patient, of the staff member, because there is a HIPAA violations that could be violated by releasing the names of these individuals. And in some cases, it's pretty known who you have been in contact, and you can kind of track it down to the individual. So some people are saying it's a violation of my privacy.
Yeah, and I think from the health department, local health department's standpoint, the reason that they are going to the local departments first and having them begin the contact tracing process and the local response before reporting this at a state level, there's going to be so much data coming in from schools at all levels, elementary, middle, high school, and college or university level, and they want to get on top of making sure the people that may be affected by these outbreaks are made aware of the situation and able to take their own precautions before announcing it to the public, where you could have potential action being taken by people, particularly in the case of college students' families, where you're saying, okay, well, there's been an outbreak, maybe you should just go entirely virtual and come home. And little do you know that you were affected by that outbreak, and now you've brought COVID-19 back to Oakland County or Macomb County or Wayne County, or you've brought it into Indiana, Wisconsin, wherever you may be from, and coming to that university. So it seems to me like there is a process here that is protecting the spread from leaving the area where the outbreaks began. But it still has that question of privacy and personal information privacy, that it's still a valid argument by schools and by parents and by students alike.
We're still learning. 6 months into this, we're still
Mm-hmm.
learning, and that is one thing, is we have to give a little bit of grace to everyone as we live with COVID-19, this pandemic. 6 months in, it's still here, but we need to find ways to stay centered, to stay positive, and to stay motivated and not let it wear down on who we are and our spirits.
Yes.
And that's why we want to bring in our next guest, Stacey Renee. She's a motivational speaker and mindset life coach. She always gives us a boost of energy in the morning. Good morning, Stacey.
Hi, good morning and welcome everybody. Great to be on again. I'm a big fan of all of you, so thank you for having me today.
Thank you for being with us, and thank you for adjusting your schedule a little bit to accommodate us this morning. You have students, or you have kids who are students, and they are remote learning. We have so many parents in the same situation that you're in and your kids are in. Checking in on you, 2 weeks into this, 3 weeks into it, how are things going? Is the frustration level high, or have you found a new normal?
Well, I think frustration levels, it's more of anxiety because, in life, we're going to be handed with a whole bunch of new things that we're going to encounter. And then also because this is not the norm for school, as we clearly know. And I think, again, how we adapt to it is how our children are going to perceive it. And, if you start the morning off, cranky and I don't want to do this and I can't believe this is happening, well, then what does that accomplish? The bottom line is that this is what's happening and this is how it's going to be played out for who knows how long. So make the best out of it, have fun with it and just do what you can, because again, you're in control of how you're reacting to all of this. And again, your children, their friends are all going to take your lead. So we better snap into it because this is the reality of it. And again, what good does the negativity do for us except for make us ugly, ruins our day, and more stuff happens. Trust me, I just experienced it a little bit yesterday. I'm like, whoa, we are not going to start our morning this way.
So you're telling us that things happen to you as well?
Yes. Sometimes waking up on the wrong end of the bed and, again, one thing leads to another and it just constantly gets worse. And, it's funny because I was just telling the story yesterday. So I got up, the dog wanted to go out. I was up really late and I thought, come on, really? So she got off. By the time she got off, she ended up going potty in the house. I'm like, seriously, this is not good. And then I ended up stepping in it, not seeing it. And I'm like, son of a gun.
Never a good way to start the day.
Right. So then my alarm's going off, waking the kids up so I could go work out. And it just spiraled one after another. And the angrier I got, I swear, the more bad things were happening. And I finally stepped back and said, you know what? We are going to have a cup of coffee. And I said an affirmation. I said 3 things that I was grateful for. And I just changed my tune. My headache that was starting to come on ended up leaving. I gave some extra love and snuggles to the dog and just ended up carrying on. So I have to be reminded of this as well. And it's something that sounds really maybe minute. But again, everything can spiral down. Just like this morning, my son didn't have his Chromebook in his backpack. He started stressing out because he did not know where his cord was. And he's like, I don't know. And he starts stressing out. So if I were to fall into that and be like, why didn't you put it away? I can't believe you didn't do this. This is responsibility. Then all hell would have broke loose this morning. And I said, honey, we can find it. Just calm down, go brush your teeth, and then we'll find it. So just divert from it for a moment. And you know what? We walked into his bedroom, boom, found it, put it in his backpack. And we just changed it immediately. And I think that we have to be very mindful because it is so easy to just go down the wrong path.
So I'm going to ask you, I know that I've been reading your book, and you say there are some key words to help us get out of those moments. Give that information to our listeners and our viewers.
Always good to be reminded. And if you have a piece of paper, write it down. The first key is to really stop and observe and notice that your feelings, your emotion, your frustrations are getting out of control, and stop. And then all of a sudden, take a deep breath, cancel, clear, delete the negative thoughts. Again, cancel, clear, delete, cancel, clear, delete. And I know I've said this in other interviews, but you guys, I'm telling you, it is such a great reminder to catch yourself. So again, cancel, clear, delete, then say an affirmation or a mantra. They can be super easy to snap your mind from thinking of the negative. And it's every day in every way, I'm better, better, and better. Every day in every way, I'm better, better, and better. Every day in every way, I'm better, better, and better. And then the more you see it, the better you feel. And I think it's getting that type of mindset going. And of course, remind yourself of the things that you're grateful for. I'm not kidding. It can be your cup of coffee. It can be toothpaste, because who doesn't feel great after brushing their teeth? I mean, we have to be appreciative of the simple things around us, and it's not the big things. It's really getting a hold of yourself, regrouping, again, so take notice of what you're doing. Say your cancel, clear, delete, gets the negative thoughts out of your mind to stop what you were saying. And then the affirmation, because it allows you to have to focus on what you're saying and not focus on the negative thoughts that is just running through your head.
Stacey Renee joining us. She is a motivational strategy speaker and mindset life coach with us on the Oakland County Megacast. Stacey, just a few more minutes with you today. Before we let you go, let's talk a little bit about this new career coaching program that you have initiated.
Yes.
Tell us about it. What does it entail? How do people maybe get involved, get some of your help with this program?
Well, with everything going on that is affecting so many of us on so many different levels, sometimes it's going to be great to check in. So I have partnered with Vanessa Denha-Garmo, and we have come up with a career reset with a positive mindset shift program. It is a beta. We're kind of collaborating and bringing our forces together, and it's a 6 weeks course. It will be on Fridays from 8:30 to 9:30, and it starts on October 2nd through November 6th. So there's no time like now time to really get in check. If you have employers out there, and see if your company will even pay for this, because you could, especially working so hard during the last couple of months, it's kind of nice to recheck yourself, get yourself aligned, focus. It will help you in your current job as well to maybe even turn in better presentations, to know more about yourself and where you can excel, to talk to your boss and say, hey, I didn't realize this, but after taking this career reset with a positive mind shift series, I learned this and this and this, and I think that I can help in this part of the department. And it really will help grow your mind and just be a better part of yourself and your business. And here's the thing is, when you're happy, you're exuberant, and your work is happier and more productive. And so you can go to careermindset.rsvpify.com to sign up for the class. It's currently listed at $397, and we are only allowing 15 people to participate. And we also have a lot of great things that are going to be inside the program. And it's to stop seeing yourself in the past, see yourself in the present, to grow your future. What are your strengths and weaknesses? And some of us really think that we know, but until you dig deep, maybe you may not know that somebody may see you in a different light. For example, I didn't know that I really didn't take no for an answer until my friend says, you were really good. Like, you don't really take no for an answer. I said, I don't? She's like, no. And it's just something that I didn't really realize about myself. And there's a couple of other things with my personality trait, which will be also into the program, that we're going to get to the neuroscience of what's happening to, again, help your future, help your present, and get you back reset and we all could use that. So again, take advantage of this, because this class is normally $697, and it's not going to be that price again. No desperation here. I just want people to really utilize, talk to your bosses, talk to your colleagues, see if, they will allow you to take advantage of this. And it's just 1 hour a week starting on Fridays. So you start your day at work a little bit later. So it's a great program. Thanks for asking.
You're listening to 89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake, 88.1 WBFH Bloomfield Hills. Stacy Renee with us here on the Oakland County Megacast. Stacy, when I was driving in today, I heard a segment on the radio in which they were talking about so many workers being stressed and anxious as the pandemic continues to carry on, and even more so going back with so many kids having to remote learn as well. What advice do you have for managers out there or business owners? Could they participate in this as well?
Absolutely. It would be a huge benefit for them personally, but also for the company. And here's the thing. Companies really at this point, and I know that funds are limited, everyone got hit financially, there are some businesses that benefited, which is really great, but you also, the price of this and the benefit that they're going to be receiving in the end of the day and long term is going to help that employee who gave so much to them over the months. And now it's like, okay, you know what? Thank you for everything that you did. I'm going to invest back into you, because this will really help you personally and professionally. And I really hope that companies do take advantage of this opportunity to give back to their employees, to want something better for them. And, a career set with a positive mind shift will help them as a whole, as a circle, and personally, and again, professionally. So I hope that they take advantage of it.
Exactly. It's a good program. What advice do you give to people who maybe participate in these programs or read a self-help book and they're all motivated, but then their day goes on, life goes on, they get stuck, and they fall off the wagon? How do they get back on and stay on the path?
We all need reminders. I need reminders, and I keep little sticky notes maybe in my car. And again, we need to be reminded, and having something accountable, having like little clues. I do an exercise in one of my other keynote speaking that, if you take a balloon and you write down something negative that somebody has said to you that is really bothering you, and it just, every time you hear it, it just makes you cringe and it makes you crawl into your own skin. And I have them write that down on the balloon. And here's the thing is, when I ask them to say it out loud, they don't say it out loud. But when I ask them to say something positive that they feel about themselves, that somebody said about themselves, man, they are saying, I am awesome, or I can do anything. And they're exuberating with that positive, but yet they're not willing to say anything about their negative feeling or that negative word that triggers them. They don't say it, but yet, man, you internalize it and it takes you down. And your thoughts and belief system is what you're illuminating out to everybody else. So let's just pop the balloon. Every time that negative word even comes around, you just replace it with your positive word that makes you feel good from the inside out. So I'm able to offer key tips like that whenever you see a balloon, you're gonna be like, oh, positive word. And it's kind of a nice little tool that we're reprogramming our mindset. We're reprogramming our habits. And we need to be in tune with that a little bit more, or I'm telling you, your thoughts will take you down, because it's just the way that we're built, and we have to acknowledge and be aware of certain things. And let's just take it by the hands and take control.
Stacy Renee, always giving us great advice and lifting us up here on the Oakland County Megacast. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule, and good luck with your career coaching program as well.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and have it very successful.
Thank you. We're going to take a quick break here on the Oakland County Megacast, and when we come back, what is it like to be a Lions diehard fan during this time? What a game on Sunday. You're listening to and watching the Oakland County Megacast.
Michigan, the coronavirus pandemic has put us all to the test. And now it's time to put COVID-19 to the test. As we move forward, testing will be critical. We encourage anyone who has reason to get tested to do so, those with symptoms and those without. If you are leaving home and going back to work, get tested. If you think you may have COVID-19 or you've been exposed recently through family, friends, or coworkers, get tested. Our test locator tool can help you find the right testing site that fits your needs. Even if you're looking for easy access with no cost, no prescription, and no appointment necessary, we've got you covered. Help Michigan move forward, not backward. To find a testing site or learn more, visit michigan.gov/coronavirus test. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. Michigan, we still need to stay careful because we don't want to go backwards, back to where we started. So keep standing 6 feet apart, keep wearing a mask in public, and if you have symptoms, talk to a healthcare provider about getting tested. To move forward, let's all do our part. So stay careful. Michigan.gov/coronavirus.
Back to the Oakland County Megacast. I'm Ronnie Dahl alongside the one, the only Tyler Keefe here in the Lakes FM studios in Greater West Bloomfield. It has been a tough run already. One game in for the Detroit Lions fans. It's been a strange year. They're back on the gridiron. However, fans are not allowed into the stadium. But I have to say, I don't know if I would want to be a fan in that stadium for Sunday's game. We are going to bring in one of the biggest fans, despite how many games they lose. Deborah Laurie is a season ticket holder with the Detroit Lions. And Deborah, are you ever going to give up on the team?
Well, if I haven't in 25 plus years, I don't think I'm going to now, and neither is my group, the Blue Crew and the Tub Gators, that have been notorious for tailgating before Lions games with a hot tub and our blue Kool-Aid. So if you come drink our blue Kool-Aid, you'll probably have more fun than maybe some of the games, but the games are kind of important. And we have our killer game coming up, away game against Green Bay this Sunday.
So will you guys be traveling to any of the games?
Some of the groups, some of the Blue Crew and some of the Tub Gator team will definitely travel because we're all season ticket holders for a very long time, most of us. So we do go to a few games. It depends on who lets us in and who doesn't. The Detroit Lions gave a fan package for season ticket holders to actually buy these silver packages besides our season tickets. And the problem with that is they sold a couple seats here and there for us to buy these packages, even though we have our season tickets and we can't go in a game, but they're letting the high school teams play with masks on. And there's going to be fans in those stadiums that are going to be required to wear masks. So I'm not sure why they're not allowing at least 50% capacity in Ford Field, considering they could space us out in there 6 seats apart, 10 seats apart, whatever that is. They could stagger 50% of that stadium.
Yeah, and you guys weren't allowed to tailgate as well, right? Eastern Market was shut down?
Well, we weren't allowed to tailgate. So that's kind of funny that you say that. So Eastern Market for sure would not allow us on the lot that we normally go to tailgate before the game. But we did this past Sunday have a tailgate at a location. One of the Tub Gator / Blue Crew team allowed us to use their home for the tailgate, where we did have our Kool-Aid man there. And we did have all of our group there tailgating before the game and watching the game under a tent. I would say there's probably maybe 50 people that showed up. We normally get about 80 people. So we're hoping that we can find other locations where they'll allow us as a group to come in, not only with the hot tub and tailgate, because we still are fans, whether we're allowed in the stadium or not.
Devin, you're still a fan. despite watching that last play. Holy cow, you know I'm not a football fan, but my husband was like, you've got to watch this, sound down. And I go, no, I need the sound. He goes, no, watch it.
Yeah,
Oh my
I think
gosh.
I hate that. I hate the fact that the Lions don't have fans to motivate or generate the interest in the game, right? Because the booing and things like that come in motivate Matthew Stafford. I mean, he likes the fans. He wants the fans in the stadium. He needs that. And I think so does the team. And if they're winning by that much, I think the team can help by so much they were winning. And if the team is in there and they're screaming and they're cheering on the Lions and they're excited, that would change the dynamic of that last couple minutes of the game.
It definitely gives a different sense of momentum. Deborah Laurie with us.
Right.
She is a Lions die-hard fan, a member of the Blue Crew / Tub Gators tailgating community that roots for the Lions each and every Sunday, occasionally on Mondays and Thursdays as well, where NFL football is also played. So in terms of the football across the board played by the Lions last Sunday against the Chicago Bears, what did you and your fellow Tub Gators and Blue Crew members think about the football that they saw on the field by our men in the Honolulu Blue?
Well, I think it was a great opportunity for the gang to get back together since we weren't together since the last home game. So I think the excitement of getting everybody together, cheering on the team, knowing that we're still there, whether we can be there live in the stadium or not, is kind of the biggest, I guess, plus for us, not so much for the team itself. But I think it's a great thing that the team was able to get together, watch the game together. Whether we win or lose, we're still there, and we're still always going to be Lions fans. I know there's some dissension among the NFL about who's kneeling, who isn't kneeling, and, let's just play football. Let's get us back in the stadiums, and let's open up our stadiums, because I think people need that. I mean, that's why they open up high school football and sports and things that are going on. I think we really need to start letting fans go back in the stadium and do 50% capacity. I know around the country there are some open air stadiums that had considered letting fans come in, but they're going to go to their season ticket holders first. They're not going to let the Blue Crew Tub Gator, 80 of us, go to California or Atlanta to see an outdoor game, so to speak.
So, Deb, what are you hearing from the Detroit Lions? Is there a possibility that ticket holders are going to be allowed back into the stadium this year?
It doesn't look like it, other than they're selling these silver packages for specific games, but it's still in 2020. And if we were not allowed in the Detroit Tiger Stadium, and we were not allowed to see the basketball teams play, college football is not allowing fans in the stadiums. So I think that even though the Lions are trying to sell these packages, I still don't think they're going to allow us into the game to even see those games.
So I have to ask, did you get one of the cutouts to put into the into the stands?
No, but actually there are Blue Crew and Tub Gators that did. So you'll see some of the famous Blue Crew, either the Crackman or the Pilgrim or the Lion, or some of our gang did actually buy the cutouts. I was not one of them that bought the cutouts, and I wasn't happy about the silver package because they have my money for my Lions season tickets. As you know, I have 4 Lions season tickets, and I'm a little disappointed that I can't even use 2 of the 4, which I think the stadium could probably do.
Right. So they didn't offer refunds to the ticket holders then, or what are they promising you?
They offered either a refund or count it towards next year's game. So hopefully in 2021, my season tickets will still be there. It's just I won't be able to go into the stadium in 2020.
How much were they selling the cutouts for?
The cutouts, if you're a season ticket holder, are $125, and if you're not, they were $150. And what what the money goes to is the Lions charity. So it's actually kind of a cool thing. So for a season ticket holder, for $125, you can get your cutout put in the stadium, and it goes to all the Lions charities that they're trying to support. I think where the problem is with that fundraising that goes on during Lions games when you have a full stadium, there's a lot of money that's raised for those charities through different raffles that they run and different events that are going on for different charities. They either run the concession stands and things. Now, all those people that were raising money for all those charities can't do it now. And so they've really handicapped us, especially in Michigan, that all these people that relied on funds from those games running, those concession stands running, those raffles running, everything else, this was, I guess, the best way that they could do it with the cutout. So congratulations to the marketing team at the Lions for at least coming up for a way for those Lions charities to help make some money, but not to the level that they can make them at every game.
Yeah, definitely a great cause that they're putting that money toward, and good creativity on the part of the Detroit Lions organization in doing something when many teams are just not able to do anything related to the fans at this point in time. So we're joined by Deborah Laurie. She is part of the Blue Crew / Gators fan community with the Detroit Lions. Deb, after seeing the first game of the year, knowing the talent that's on this team, a lot of guys not on the field on Sunday, including ace wide receiver Kenny Galladay, new offensive tackle Halapoulivaati Vatai was not on the field either. Another guy that wasn't out there was first round pick Jeffrey Okudah. Those guys are going to be coming back at some point, hopefully sooner rather than later. They got a tough schedule coming up with a couple of games, especially this coming Sunday at Lambeau Field. What do you and your fellow Tub Gators and Blue Crew think are the prospects for the Lions team in 2020? How far can they go?
I think that this is the game where Andre Peterson is going to run for 150 yards. No question. Maybe more. I think this is the game where he's going to show the Detroit Lion fans the reason why he's on the team. And I think Matthew Stafford's going to get pumped up in that game, even though there are no fans in Lambeau Field. The adrenaline that will go through some of the senior Detroit Lions and then some of the new players to be able to be at Lambeau Field, which we have done in the past. The Tub Gators and Blue Crew have all been there. It is absolutely the most dynamic stadium. The energy that's in there, even if fans aren't there, is going to drive the Lions to win against Green Bay.
Deb, how devastating would it be for you as a lifelong fan if the Lions were to make it to the playoffs and even win it all and you were not allowed to be there?
Well, so first of all, that'll be in 2021. So maybe some restrictions will be lifted by the end of this year, we're hoping. I mean, let's hope that they don't cancel everything in the state of Michigan. But playoff games are usually in 2021. And if they do, there's probably an option for us to buy tickets for that. I'm hoping that they allow 50% at least in the stadium. So if I have 4 tickets, I'm allowed to buy 2. And then hopefully I'll get to go to those playoff games. We're hopeful.
You know, it just seems like, and again, it's a big if. And I think after we watched that first game, people are feeling like, it's probably not going to happen anyway. But as a lifelong, diehard Lions fan, that would have to be one of the worst things to have them win it and you not be able to be there.
Well, yeah, it is. But every game is like that. So, we were hoping, and all of us were hoping, because of the lead that we had, the last minute of the game, to be able to have a rookie miss a pass. Well, that'll happen. They didn't get preseason games to play and get the experience that they needed against an opponent. They did have practices, but not to the level that they needed in order to win a game. So I think against Green Bay, I think we have a great chance to win that game. I think the fans not being there, but knowing it's Lambeau Field, I think the Lions have a good chance of winning that game.
Deborah Laurie with us here on the Oakland County Megacast. Deb, anything that you want to say before we let you go besides go Lions?
Matthew, keep them straight, man. Keep throwing those passes. They'll catch them. They're a good team. They've got a good offense. They've got a good defense. They've got great players on the team. They need Matthew Stafford to lead them.
Do you think this is going to be his last year?
No, I don't think so. I think he's healthy now. He's had some issues over the past couple of years with broken vertebrae, and he's had some strange things happen to him. But I think this year, including he had a COVID positive, which turned out to be a COVID negative. So even for that Detroit Lion, he was very vocal with the NFL about how they were testing and that he tested positive, and then all of a sudden the next day he was negative, and he was very angry about that. And so was his wife. So I think some of the fans kind of follow the NFL. The NFL is bigger than maybe even some school districts vocal talking about the way the classes are being run. Boy, the NFL, it's like a religion for some people. And, we're going to go Lions all the way. But I think there's other NFL teams that are as passionate as we are.
I will say I've been impressed with how they've been able to maintain the positive results and keeping people respectful of not coming down with the virus or not getting the virus. I've been really surprised at the lack of how few positive tests there have been throughout this entire time.
And I think I'm no doctor, but if they're saying we should wear a mask when we're in a group of people, then we'll wear a mask in a group of people of 100 or more, right? That you have to wear a mask. And I think they could manage something in Ford Field for us to be able to come in and watch some games. But I think there's going to be restrictions with the restrictive orders in the state of Michigan that's not going to allow us into Ford Field no matter what the NFL says.
Well, Deb, thanks so much. I know that you have a busy day there ahead of you. We appreciate getting your insight into the Detroit Lions, the upcoming season, and what a first game that they put on. You have to admit it was spectacular. It was just not the ending that we wanted.
And if you're not a Lions fan, you want to see a lot of scoring because that's more exciting, right? When they catch footballs and they kick field goals. For a non-sports fan, if you have to sit through a game, that's the game you want to sit through, is one where there's a lot of scoring and a lot of activity.
Well, let's hope that they have a much better outcome the rest of the season. Go Lions. And Deb, to you and the rest of your diehard fan crew, tell them we said hello, and we're hoping that you guys get back into the stadium sometime at some point to be able to lift this team up, hopefully, to a victory.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Go Lions.
Deborah Laurie with us on the Oakland County Megacast. I will say, Tyler, some Lions fans, as well as Tigers, they are dedicated. They are so dedicated year after year, season after season. They do not falter on their dedication to the team despite the losses. There's always so much hope at the beginning of the season, though.
The Lions fans, let's face it. Detroit Lions fans are the most resilient sports fans in any major sport on any continent on this globe. The fact that we can go through so much agony, so much pain, so many, let's call them hijinks, and still love this team, it's incredible. It's unfathomable at times that we still enjoy watching this team, take time out of our lives to watch the Detroit Lions with some of the things that go on and some of the antics that happen with this team. We have such bad luck, but I think that's what endears us to them, is someday that bad luck's going to expire, and we don't want that to be the day that we're not watching the Detroit Lions.
Keep hoping, Tyler.
Oh, keep hope alive.
Keep hoping. We'll take a quick break here on the Oakland County Megacast, and when we come back, we are going to check in with the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. They are also our Facebook partner of the day, so we appreciate that. You can catch us live on civiccentertv.com or the Birmingham Area Municipal Access, or also head over to their Facebook page. You are watching and listening to the Oakland County Megacast.
Michigan, we're calling on you to save lives. Don't ignore it. Don't let it go to voicemail. It's urgent. In fact, it's critical. Because if you've been in close contact with someone who tests positive for COVID-19, you may have been exposed to the virus. And you could get a call from My COVID Help or your local health department. So please answer the call to learn how to protect yourself, your family, and friends. We're calling on you to stop the spread of COVID-19, to make it safe to reopen businesses and help Michigan move forward. So if you get a call from My COVID Help or your local health department, you may have been exposed to someone with COVID-19. To protect us all, answer the call. Learn more at michigan.gov/containcovid. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jonae Keldoon. I'm the Chief Medical Executive for the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. The people who are at highest risk of getting severely ill from COVID-19 are the elderly and those with chronic medical conditions. That includes people with heart disease, diabetes, COPD, or those who have compromised immune systems. People who are in those categories should right now be staying at home as much as possible and not going out if it is not essential. If you fit into one of those categories, those are the things you should do. And if you have a family member who fits into one of those categories, you should be checking in on them and making sure they are following those guidelines. There's something everyone can do to protect the community from COVID-19.
This may seem uncomfortable, but so is being hooked to an IV, sleeping in a hospital bed, and fighting for your life. When it comes to COVID-19, comfort is not as important as saving lives. Wearing a mask can greatly reduce the chance of spreading the virus. So mask up, Michigan, every time you leave home.
Thank you for tuning in to the Oakland County Megacast, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Tyler Keith and I in the studios here at Lakes FM and Civic Center TV in West Bloomfield, working to bring you long-form interviews with newsmakers and people of interest throughout the greater Oakland County area. And next we are going to bring in one of our longtime favorites, Suzanne Levine. She is the Executive Director, Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. I am telling you, Suzanne, the chambers are so important right now during this time.
Yes, they are. I don't think that people realize how embedded they are in the community, in the business community, trying to help our businesses survive, especially during these very, very challenging, which is an understatement, times.
Yeah, I think prior to this, people were aware of the different chambers, and they were a networking outlet and a way to meet other people. But during COVID-19 and the continual shutdowns, and even if you are allowed to be reopened, the limited capacity, I think the chamber has been the lifeline for so many of these businesses, keeping them open.
Yes, we have been. I think that people don't realize the other thing is that our chamber especially is very involved in one-on-one business matchmaking, even before all of this happened. So, for example, if a real estate agent called me and said they wanted to be connected with an assisted living, that's something that I did one-on-one. And now, more than ever, it's really important that I continue to do that for our community, that they can stay connected to beneficial community partners, as well as getting out the word that they are open for business. But like everyone, we have to reinvent the way that we do business today, even the chamber. everyone has to be kind of mindful of what's going on and how can we stay vibrant.
Suzanne Levine with us. She is the Executive Director of the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. She's also one of our cable commissioners here in West Bloomfield to help support our operations here at Civic Center TV and WBLD, the flagship stations of the Oakland County Megacast. And Suzanne, you talk about being a business matchmaker and being a lifeline for the businesses in our community. Networking has become even more important than ever before over the course of the pandemic, and there's so much that your chamber has put an emphasis on networking even before COVID-19 was in the mix as a monkey wrench in many of these businesses' operations. How much have those networking efforts been increased over the course of the pandemic as companies are trying to innovate and are trying to collaborate to save each other on top of just saving themselves?
Well, we had to pivot to do most of our events now virtually. So our senior resource group, which was a fabulous networking event, not only for businesses that want to do business with seniors, but also to provide information to seniors that they were meeting at Connect. So we've had to kind of reconfigure that. We do still have those meetings virtually, the same with our Cup of Connections, which is before we were meeting at Plum Market. So we're doing that virtually. Our Business Innovation Generator, where we bring in fabulous speakers. We've also done that as well. Stacy Zakhovich has done a fabulous job, and you were always carrying that for us, always taping it, and those were very, very successful. And our Women's Inspiration Group, the WIN, we also are bringing in guest speakers virtually. But I don't know if you're aware of this, but we have taken all of our big events, our leadership luncheon, our health fair, all of our networking events, and we're going to have a huge virtual event. It's called the Greater West Bloomfield Vibe, Virtual Innovation Beneficial event. It's going to be a 2-day event, October 28th and 29th, and thanks to our own Dave Scott, who's going to handle all the technical aspects of it, and a platform called Hopin. So we're going to have speakers on a variety of subjects. We're going to have fun stuff like pet lookalike. We're going to have Zumba. There's going to be a virtual exhibit. There's going to be breakout sessions. It's an extravaganza. So it's so beyond anything that anyone could imagine. And at least it'll be a networking event. It'll be a way for families to join in, all of our business leaders, people that are seeking information or just want to have some fun for a couple hours.
You know, I think so many times we would have these conferences where you would go away and nothing is going to replace that in-person experience. But I also look at the flip side of this, and I think when we're doing virtual, we are also allowing more people to participate. So do you think that is something that the chamber might continue on with going forward past post-demic if we ever get there?
Yes, I think that, as I mentioned before, every business, regardless of the pandemic or not, has to continually reinvent themselves. We also, employees, leaders, have to reinvent our skill set to make sure that they're current with what is needed today and tomorrow. So I do believe that there will always be a hybrid effect of some in-person and some virtual aspect. That would be my goal, is to have actually an in-person event, but also cover it so that it would be virtual for the people that don't want to leave their homes or unable to leave their homes, especially if the weather is bad. So that's kind of the way that I foresee the future of business going.
So Suzanne, with the Vibe event that is coming up, is there a limit to how many people who can participate because it's virtual? What's that look like, and how can people get involved, or can they still do so as well? Absolutely. We have some really great sponsors, and we're going to, Dave and I are going to put ticket sales. We are going to charge a nominal fee of $10. It's for the 2-day event. October 28th, it's like from 12 to 8 at night. There's going to be entertainment. There's going to be, get up out of your comfort zone and do a Zumba, have a DIY, hear these really fabulous speakers about conflict resolution and how the culture is changing remotely. People that are going to give financial advice. There'll be breakout sessions. So
There will be ticket sales. It will be on our website, westbloomfieldchamber.com. And I believe that Dave is going to create a website also where people can, join in and get a taste of what it's going to be like, because this platform is so incredible. It kind of defies any kind of verbal description. You have to see it to believe it, but people can hop in and hop out. So let's say there's a leadership speaker that they really want to hear. For example, Gabe Karp from Detroit Venture Partners. And then maybe there's someone from Henry Ford Hospital that's going to talk about, the need for colonoscopies, or a COVID update, or maybe someone on social media take a mini class on how to effectively, send a really great email. So there'll be all different things. They don't have to attend everything. They can decide over these 2 days. And that's why we're really excited about it. The virtual exhibits are so incredible. So basically, if someone wants to advertise their business, they can purchase a virtual booth or virtual exhibit. And when someone clicks on it, they can have a live person talking. There can be all kinds of PowerPoint, roll-in video, Q&A, and then we can supply the metrics afterwards to let people know 50 people came to your virtual exhibit, 10 maybe ask questions, maybe you want to contact them. So this is just a really great way for businesses to network, to get their business out there, but also for people to learn about, what else is going on. We're going to have like a fashion show, maybe your best Zoom fashion, and we'll have a little contest and, see if we can't get the winner a prize, other than, pajama clothes. So,
suit jacket on the top, pajamas on the bottom.
Right. I mean, that's a whole industry that, that's untapped right now. So, the leisure wear. So out with the suits and in with the leisure suits again.
Suzanne Levine joining us. She is the executive director of the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. Joining us today talking about their upcoming event, their Vibe event, virtual innovative business event that is coming up on October 28th and 29th. You can find more information about that event on their website at westbloomfieldchamber.com. And Suzanne, for the, like you said, a nominal fee of $10 for this 2-day event where business leaders, professionals, just people in the general public that want to learn something from experts in the community can get a wealth of knowledge. I look at your website and your flyer for this event, and there's a honeycomb of different topics there, from health, leadership, finance, community, commerce, and the goal and the slogan being discover, lead, engage. What do you hope that people in the general community that may attend and those in the business community, whether it be in West Bloomfield or surrounding areas, will take away from this Vibe event?
Well, first of all, I hope that they'll be excited to attend something, because we know there's been a dearth of events for people to be involved in. So this will be the best next thing to being at a conference where you would have different speakers and fun events. We're even giving away swag bags to the first 100 people that register. I'm hoping that they'll learn something, that they'll engage, that they'll network, that they'll make some beneficial connections. And for the family, they'll have some fun, some things that they can do with their family. Like I say, the Zoom lesson. We're going to do like a remote workout, lift your mouse up and down and see if you can, build some tricep. I don't know, a mouse-up. I don't know. Just have fun, connect, be part of the community, see who's there, and really just realize that we're all in this together. And so even though they keep saying that, really understand that the Chamber really wants to help our community. We want to support our community. We need our businesses to be vibrant in order, for our community to be vibrant. So I think it's really important. This is just another way to showcase all of the different aspects of our community, retail, leadership, and fun.
I love that you are trying to put a little fun into it, because when you're at some of these conferences and you're sitting there hour after hour, and I couldn't imagine doing that all day via Zoom versus in person. So it's good to have a little bit of fun with it, recognize it. I love the one, your pet. Let your pet, because we've had, right, because we've had so many of our pets, like, you know, crash our Zoom meetings. So that's a great one. You know, but this event aside, how are some of the businesses still doing? Are you still... Are businesses still struggling? Are they closing? And what's it look for them on the employee front?
Yes, unfortunately, we have had some closures. I think, especially the businesses where it's been more, you must have someone come into your business. You know, even some of the restaurants can do, you know, pick up, and even some of the retail can show off their merchandise virtually. And I know they were doing, you know, even dropping off at people's homes. But the ones where, you know, you actually have to go into an office, they're struggling right now. And I know that there's even difficulty in getting employees. We're trying to help with, you know, we have job postings on our website, and I'm trying to connect people. I put it on Facebook. There's a need for employees. A lot of people are afraid to go back to work. So there has to be a way to reassure people that, you know, they can be safe and they can go back to work, because obviously you can't run a business without good employees. They're the front line. All of these frontline workers, we owe them a great debt of gratitude. We couldn't do this without them.
Definitely could not. So what types of jobs and what types of employees seem to be most in demand right now? And if I know a company is hiring and I have a skill set that they need, can I negotiate for either more money or higher benefits, things of that nature?
Yes, I think, you know, today the employee has a little more of an advantage because there is a great need for them. I know the restaurants really need people. I know that the bank, I know that some of the assisted living places really need people, even just to answer the phones. So there are quite a few jobs out there, and I know there's going to be some big job fairs that people can attend virtually through Oakland County. Oakland County is a fabulous resource. They have that one-stop business center where if you're thinking about opening up a new business, even during, you know, these difficult times, they will guide you. They will tell you that, no, there's 30 beauty salons in this area. Don't open up over here. So that's a great resource. People don't realize if they go to oak.gov, they should look that up, because it's a free service, and they will, you know, even for people that have a business already, they'll look at your business plan and see, you know, if they can help you tweak it.
Suzanne Levine with us on the Oakland County Megacast, Executive Director, Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. I know in the beginning of the outbreak, the Chamber was doing a lot of work at trying to connect businesses with grants that were coming out of our, you know, local, state, and federal government. Where do things stand there? Are a lot of those grants over with now, or are there some still available?
There still are, I think the last day was the 14th. So hopefully there will be some more. Oakland County has been very, very proactive in trying to help our businesses and even the chambers obtain grant money. So I think this is the last round, but I'm sure there'll be more, because we have some really great officials at Oakland County and some of our state representatives that are very interested in helping us, because they realize that this is the lifeblood of any community. So I think there will be some more. I haven't heard of any recent ones, but I'm going to be attending an Oakland Economic Business Roundtable, so I will certainly find out. And I always make sure that our chamber members in our community, even people that aren't chamber members, you know, find out about this, because we need them. And Oakland County just contacted me. They have a few more of those business toolkits, those big buckets that were filled with some supplies. So as soon as I find out, you know, when they're going to deliver them to me, I'll send out something, and our chamber members can come and see me, and I'm more than happy to distribute them. There's hand sanitizer, thermometers, some information, gloves and masks.
Suzanne Levine joining us. She is the Executive Director of the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce joining us today. They are also our Facebook partner today, so go ahead and give them a like on Facebook, and we thank them, of course, for joining us today on the program all throughout the show and having Suzanne on to talk about the Vibe event and much more. So Suzanne, you mentioned a lot of different programs that are still in place through Oakland County, different tools that are available to local businesses. We talked to many other chambers. We talked to the chambers in Troy and the Birmingham Bloomfield Chamber as often as we talk to you on this show, and they're always talking about their collaboration with Oakland County and helping their local businesses in their coverage area. How important has the role of Oakland County been in your support to our local businesses and their ability then to survive through this really tough time in our world?
Oakland County has been really critical. They've been a frontline, they're like a frontline worker. They have connected all of our businesses that have applied for grants, and there's been several of them. And I know that some of our members have received money, and they've been really amazing. They're constantly letting us know what's going on. They had those reopened toolkits that many of our members took advantage of, as I say, with the hand sanitizers and the masks and the gloves and other information. So Oakland County, really, they're the backbone of all of our businesses and our chambers, and I'm so appreciative that they've been so beneficial to all of our survival.
Suzanne, in a crisis comes change, and while some businesses are being forced to shut down, there are other needs that are growing out of this pandemic. If I am a business person, or maybe I've been laid off or lost my job and I'm looking to change careers, what area would you suggest businesses to explore to take advantage, and not only to take advantage, but also to assist the community to get through this pandemic?
Well, I think, as I say, the assisted living is huge. I mean, they need a lot of workers there, home health care as well. They are very busy. But also, I think a lot of businesses are going to start more of a delivery service because people just don't want to leave their homes, or they don't want to go into, they're still fearful. So I think that the businesses will have to put a lot more of their merchandise online and then figure out a way to have it, people, whether they try it, try to figure out if they deliver it, then have to try it on, and then, take it back to the shop. And I know that they keep the merchandise off the floor for about 48 hours. The grocery stores are always looking. The smaller supermarkets, our specialty stores, they're all looking for, people to work. I think even our local U.S., the Postal Service here was looking for, workers.
Suzanne Levine, a great resource for us here in Oakland County, not just for business owners, but also for the community. Anyone who's in need of a job, look at their resources that they provide. Thank you so much. Just a couple minutes, did we not touch on something that you think you want to get out there, or are you good to go?
I just want to remind the community that the more that they shop local, it really is so beneficial. I know American Express, I think their little shop small business event is going to be ending soon, but really anytime that you can patronize a local establishment, it really helps our community. And again, the chamber's here to help our businesses. So anything I can do to help keep our businesses survive a day, a week, a year, forever, then I know that I've done a very responsible and great thing for our community.
You have definitely been a great asset for the community and the businesses here in Oakland County. We all appreciate everything that you have been doing, and the chamber, it has not been a vacation for all of you. So thank you so much. And like Suzanne said, take the time, shop local. Go to your local restaurant, do a takeout with your local restaurant, maybe bypass the delivery from the big box store and go ahead. And if you're not comfortable going into the store, call them up. Like she said, so many places are doing curbside right now. You can even just drive up, call, and a lot of times they'll bring your food or your supplies and your needs out to you in the car. So thank you so much, Suzanne, for being with us on the Oakland County Megacast. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a second.
Hi, I'm Dr. Faust, the Medical Director for the Oakland County Health Division. The most important thing you can do to prevent the spread of illness is to wash your hands thoroughly and often. Follow these 6 easy steps every time you wash your hands. Step 1, turn on the sink and wet your hands with warm water. Step 2, apply soap to your hands and lather between your fingers, under your nails, and the front and back of your hands and wrists. Step 3, wash your hands by scrubbing them together for at least 20 seconds. Step 4, rinse your hands with warm, clean water. And step 5, dry your hands with a clean cloth towel, a paper towel, or hot air blow dryer. If you're using a cloth towel, make sure to change it often. For handheld faucets, turn off the water using a paper towel instead of your bare hand. Step 6, if you're using a paper towel, throw it away. Practice healthy habits like washing your hands after coughing or sneezing into them to keep you and others healthy. Go to oakgov.com/health or call Nurse on Call at 1-800-848-5533 to learn more.
Michigan, the coronavirus pandemic has put us all to the test. And now it's time to put COVID-19 to the test. As we move forward, testing will be critical. We encourage anyone who has reason to get tested to do so, those with symptoms and those without. If you are leaving home and going back to work, get tested. If you think you may have COVID-19 or you've been exposed recently through family, friends, or coworkers, get tested. Our test locator tool can help you find the right testing site that fits your needs. Even if you're looking for easy access with no cost, no prescription, and no appointment necessary, we've got you covered. Help Michigan move forward, not backward. To find a testing site or learn more, visit michigan.gov/coronavirus test. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
It's the Tuesday edition of the Oakland County Megacast. Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon, Tyler, Keith, and I work to bring you interesting interviews with stakeholders and newsmakers in and around Oakland County. And today we will be wrapping up the show with Eileen Knowlton. She is a teacher at Immaculate Conception Ukrainian Catholic School. Eileen, what a tough time to be a teacher.
It is, yes, I agree. And I want to thank you for having me today. I really enjoyed your previous guest, Suzanne, and I think Oakland County is doing a great job. And you're right, it is a tough time to be a teacher. I've kind of switched it up this semester. I'm doing tutoring, and I'm helping students navigate online. I'm actually doing a pod of students. I'm helping them navigate through their school systems. I'm working with students in Birmingham, Bloomfield, and Cranbrook, and helping them get started in this crazy time during the beginning of the school year.
Eileen, I would imagine that your services are so desperately sought out right now by so many parents because these pods have become so incredibly important because it's hard to navigate so many of these students. Now, are all of your students remote? How is that working? And then if you have students in different grades, is that making it harder as well?
Yes, it is a challenge, but teachers and especially students are resilient. So I'm really impressed with how well teachers and especially my students who are working through this tough time. So yeah, some students are completely remote, some are hybrid. One of the schools has not completely started in person yet, but they're going towards that this week and next week. So, and again, there's technical. I've become good at being like solving technical issues, with Google Classrooms and other formats. And so have the students, and they're rolling with it. I taught completely online Starting March, I guess we shut down March 13th. Our school started in 4 days, teaching completely online. And that's the first time I heard about Zoom. And I have to say, I give children, everybody a lot of credit with how well we rolled with all the changes. And especially now with all the changes coming forward, how resilient kids are and teachers.
Yeah, I will say you're not alone on the Zoom thing. I'd never heard of it before as well. I was like, what's Zoom? And everyone's like, where have you been? But Zoom's a household name right now. What advice would you give to parents and students to try to navigate at least the next 3 months?
Well, one thing I would say is we all know that we have to be patient with each other, parents, students, and teachers. So for today, one of my students could not get on her Zoom class, which was math, and she was stressing out about it. But the teacher who was running the class was very supportive and very patient, and we were able to get on. School's going to look different in probably this next year. So we have to be patient with each other. We have to kind of roll with it. We eventually solved the technical problems. The student was able to get online and she was able to join our class, but teachers understand that. Teachers know what's going on, and we're patient with parents and students and their difficulties, and we know they're going to be patient with us as well. We're still navigating this.
So you're doing a learning pod right now.
I am.
There is a
Yes.
big debate, and it's still going on, about students getting back into the classroom or not back into the classroom.
Right.
As a teacher, would you be comfortable going back into a full classroom right now, or do you think we'll ever even get there again?
I think we will get there again. I also think, from what I've seen recently, when there are issues, at least locally in our school districts, with cases popping up, that it seems to get contained well. Schools in Oakland County and around us are literally following all the procedures we need to follow to make schools safe. So to answer your question, I am feeling more comfortable teaching students face to face, and I'm hoping that this continues, and that my only concern would be coming into the flu season, because to be honest with you, I get sick every year, like most teachers. I pick up a bug every year from teaching school, and hopefully this year will be better because we're all masked up, we're wearing masks, we have protections, we're washing our hands, and I'm hoping the flu season won't be as bad as it has been in the past. And that's my only concern, is coming into these winter months when we're going to be enclosed, getting sick with not just the virus, but with other things that we normally get sick with, colds and flu.
Eileen Knowlton joining us. She is a teacher. She is teaching learning pods over the pandemic, joining us on the Oakland County Megacast. My apologies, just clearing my throat. Eileen, just another minute or so before we let you go today. Anything else you'd like us to know? Any other words of encouragement for students, parents, and other teachers as they continue to navigate this whole new landscape of teaching before we let you go today?
I just am so impressed with the resilience of students and teachers, and the understanding of parents. Pack your patience, and please, teachers are really working hard to make this all work for students. We all want to make this work. We all get the satisfaction of working with students, working with classes, and we're doing and school districts are doing the best they can to navigate this area. So we appreciate the understanding and patience that parents have. And also, one more thing, I've recently read where parents are now valuing the profession of teaching more since this has happened. I hope that going forward that that's a positive thing. I've been a teacher for almost 15 years, and I'm glad that there's some empathetic feelings towards teachers now and the work that we do and how quick we can be flexible in these difficult times.
Eileen, you and all the teachers out there definitely heroes during this pandemic, and you're right. I think a lot of parents and so many other people appreciate all of the work that you have been doing through the years. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be with us on the Oakland County Megacast, and thank you for what you are doing for the kids to keep them learning during this pandemic. I'm sure their parents and everyone else greatly appreciates it. Eileen Knowlton with us here on the Oakland County Megacast. That's going to just about wrap it up here for us, Tyler, on this Tuesday. We want to say thank you to Jake and Larry, our producers behind the scene, for getting us on the air. Everyone, stay healthy, stay happy. This is the Oakland County Megacast.